the video is so long, but also in the video, I did ask Nancy Drew, I asked her about the stereotype about lips, and she said that it is not true. So you're saying one thing and she said another. I said, on the average, do people of color have fuller lips? And she said no. And I said, white people have thinner lips, and she said no.
But Belinda,
so you said, what am I?
Belinda,
I'm trying to understand
you said several. Yeah, Belinda, you've said several times, even when you were up here earlier, and even your friends were saying it in the chat. I saw Sunshine saying it in the chat that Black people always talk about your thin lips. So that shows me that you know the thin lips are usually on white people.
That's why I asked her, Shar. That's why I asked Nancy Drew, and she denied it being true.
But you know that for yourself, because you say you experience it from Black people all the time, talking about your thin lips.
Exactly, so and that's why I asked Nancy Drew, and she denied it. So I could not make my point to her because she denied it to be true.
Belinda, you did not need to ask Nancy Drew if it was like that to her. You understand because you say that you feel pain because so many Black people talk about your thin lips. You talk about this all the time, and I'm not saying you don't have a right to feel that way. So you know when somebody talk about voluptuous lips, big ass lips, big Black lips, it's racially motivated. Because you claim that it's racially motivated when people talk about your thin lips.
To be honest with you, I've never heard so many racial comments until I got on TikTok. Like I said, I came from a diverse area. I was friends with everybody. I'm cool with everybody. So to hear all these different things that Black people are being called and white people are being called are new to me. You want to know the truth.
Okay. So I'm going to try to put a fork in this because I think, how can I put this? I think we're at a plateau, right? And the reason why we're at this plateau is because there's a level of emotional and I'm not saying this about you, Belinda, but a lot of times there's a lack of emotional intelligence that fills certain rooms to allow certain things to go off the rails, right? Now, granted, one guy in here, he comes in here, oh, we do satire, right?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, there's many of them, right? Many people that will call it satire when really, in all honesty, it's a safe space to say what they really feel. That's it. I'm gonna call it what it is. and not unless you have a career as a comedian or you do stand up on the weekends that I don't know about, then I'll change my mind. Because at the end of the day, right, if you are the only one laughing at your jokes, then it's probably not a joke.
Not a joke.
It's probably not a joke.
JP, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, my man. Hey, brother, I love y'all, man. Hey, just understand this. You will never, ever, ever be alone again, bro. Believe that shit. Ever. You will never turn around and not see my motherfucking back that's protecting your back. Always.
I appreciate it.
I love you, man. Peace.
All right. So I think we need to come to a firm understanding of what certain things that are put into an atmosphere can do to certain people, right? Because I'll be honest with you, Belinda, I never looked at the comments of like someone calling, you got thin lips, ha ha ha. I never connected it to a racial undertone or connected it to an emotional weapon, so to speak. But you've given me a different perspective on that. So now I'll take that into greater consideration, and especially in spaces where I walk into. You know what? I know you think this is funny, but hey, maybe we should change the temperature in the room, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make a space where it's more inclusive. All right? Or whatever character features that may reside on one side than the other. But I could be cognizant of that. But these individuals that do this, in all reality, they are cognizant of it. They know it. They just choose to give this illusion that, it's not really how I feel. It's just satire. It's just jokes. Ha ha ha. You just fragile. No, it's not because we're fragile. We see through the bullshit. We see through it.
And when Mark did that satire, I came to Shar even though I was not involved in the satire in the box, because I knew as soon it's hard. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, because I explained all this to Shar, and I can understand why she got triggered and why she got upset. I went into Mr. Jones Live to speak to her. I believe it was Mr. Jones Live, because of how it affected her. Because when I was looking at my phone, B. Travis, shut the fuck up. Sorry, you guys. I can't stand him. But anyway, I came in on my own recognizance because Shar got so upset. She came into the box. She was very upset. So I searched her out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mr. Jones Live, and I got berated in there, and that's fine. I took it, but I came on behalf of myself. I didn't come for anybody else to apologize to her that it upset her. I try to right my wrongs, just like JP, you were in Stitches Live that time that with New York City Queen. And I don't know if you were in the live when I came back in to apologize to her, because I seen him live again. And New York City Queen, I think she was in there, but I wanted to apologize and right my wrong, because when I went back and looked, I realized she was not one of the ones saying the things that I accused her of saying. I right my wrongs when I feel I'm wrong. So that's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay. All right. I mean,
and that's why it bothers me, JP, when everybody says that I'm so racist. I don't
have anything negative to say about you personally.
No, I don't mean you personally, but a lot of the people in the comments and what have you, they think that I'm the most racist person, this, that, and the other, and I'll take it, whatever. They can think what they want about me. I know my truth, and I right my wrongs. I try to be good to everybody. I'm not a hateful person, and I get a lot of hate, even though I try to right my wrongs or try to be good to people, or, you know what I'm saying? If I feel that I offended somebody, I try to correct it. And it seems like it's getting nowhere with me. And even before tonight, I had already said about 4 days ago to Chris that I was going to get off of TikTok, because it's now to the point it's called TikToxic, where everybody's fighting with everybody. It's not just the left against the right, and the conservatives against the liberals, and the Republicans against the Democrats, or white versus black. It's everyone's fighting amongst each other, and it's not healthy for me, my mental state, if that makes sense.
No, and